Hello. So, welcome for our next session on CAT 2025 150 must do questions part 13. Okay, so we are live. We are back for our next one. So, I hope that you have been in good spirits, that you have been revising, right? And you have been doing mocks regularly, right? So, this is the time that we should be doing our full throttle practice over the main most important topics concepts, and in that spirit, right, we are back with our next session, right? So uh, I'm very excited. I'm sure you must be as well. All right, ready to begin? Here we go. So let me first of all set the rules for this session, or how we go about this session, I would say. I'll put up a problem, right? And I'll give you a few seconds to digest the problem, to start it, right? Understand what we need to do, and a minute or so, and then we'll start discussing. So you should also try to solve with me, right? And you should try to get a good answer with better than I can. I mean, maybe try to beat me in terms of how quickly you can solve this. All right. So. Would love to hear a shout out from everyone who is in the session. Hello, everyone is there. Just send me on the chat box, right? So that we know that we are all active. All right. So let's see. Here we go. First one. Okay. So, right, let's start with something on arithmetic percentages. Right, take it, start it, take it a minute to try it, and then we will discuss. Okay, so I hope you're solving. Let me take this now. So all the statements you have read, they are on percentage comparison. Percentage comparison always gives us the ratio between two things. So if this is 80% more, so it's 1.8 times 1.8 is a fraction of 9 by 5. So from 80% more, I reach to the ratio of 9 is to 5, right? So any percentage statement gives us a ratio of two quantities, right? So Anil and Sunil, their initial salaries are in the ratio of 9 is to 5. So if Anil was, let's say, something like 9x, then Sunil was something like 5x, right? That is 80% more. Next year, they both receive 5,000 salary. So next year, what does Amit's salary is new? Amit's new salary, what is that? Now 9x plus 5,000. Now I'm writing 5, right? No need to write all the zeros. Let one represent 1,000 rupees, right? So this is 9x plus 5, and this is 5x plus 5. So these are the new salaries for both of them. And between them, the percentage comparison is given that Anil's salary is now 60% more. So 60% more means 1.6 times or 8 by 5 times. So now we can write the equation that this 9x plus 5 is therefore 1.6 or 8 by 5 times of this 5x plus 5. So we get an equation on x, we solve x, right? And from there, we proceed, isn't it? So we cross multiply, we get 9 5 is 45x plus 25 equals 8 into 5 40x plus 8 into 5 40. So 45 minus 40, which is 5x, equals 40 minus 25 or 15. 5x is 15, we're getting x as 3. Pretty regular problem on percentage, right? Percentage comparison statements were given. Initially, we took the two quantities defined on the ratios as 9 is to 5 as 9x 5x. Then they change. Then again percentage comparison. So that statement helps us to find the value of x. So if x is 3, it means its initial salary was 9 3s at 27,000. This was the initial salary of Amit. And that of Sunil was 5 into 3, 15,000. Both of them got a raise of 5,000. So 27 became 32 and 15 became 20. And yes, 32 is exactly 1.6 times of 20. Now, in the question is not stopping there. It goes to the next statement. In the subsequent year, how much increment should both receive so that Anil's salary would be 50% more than that of Sunil? So this 32 will further increase by something. Let's say 32 will become 32 plus K, and this 20 will also increase by the same amount because that is what is given. How much should increment should both receive? So they are both receiving the same increment. So that now this is 1.5 times of that, 50% more. So what is the equation? 32 plus K is 1.5 or 3 by 2 times of 20 plus K. Solving this will give us the value of K, and that is the answer, right? So what do we get? 32 into 2, 64 plus 2K is 3 into 20, 60 plus 3K. So yeah, we are getting our K as nothing but 4. So 4,000 is the required increment, right? 32 becomes 36, 20 becomes 24, 36 is exactly 1.5 times of 24. Okay, so this is something that we should all be pretty used to, right? Isn't it? Now, I see is that there are people in the session, they are active, right? I would want you to solve the next problems as we go along, right? So I'm very I would be very happy, right, to get response from you people, right, as we go along, right? So please share our answers as we are discussing the problems. I give you a minute to try. So time and distance, something that all of us can think about over here. Please give it a try. And it's a live session, right? So any doubts, queries, please write in to me on the chat box. I will be responding. Okay. Okay. So I'm starting to discuss, right? Prem starts from a point A and walks on a straight road towards B. Perfect. Let's draw a diagram for this. There's a point A and there's a point B, right? Okay. So now Ravi starts a little later. So Prem starts early. Let's say Ravi has reached somewhere until Prem has reached some point, let's say till here, let's say call it P1. So I'm designating, because at different stages, the persons will be at different positions. So P1 means Prem's first position is here, while Ravi is here at the starting. Call it R1. Ravi now starts and Prem has reached here. Let's say this is distance is X, some distance, okay, in kilometers. Now it is given that Ravi starts a little later from A and covers 9 kilometers to catch up with Prem. So at some point down the line, call it M1, the meeting point of Prem and Ravi. At this point, which is total of 9 kilometers from point A. So from A to M1 is total of 9. So if A to P1 is X, then this is 9 minus X. So here both Prem and Ravi meet. This is where P2 and R2 are there. Both Prem and Ravi are this point, right? This is what the statement is saying. So this is the first situation. Now the second situation, if Ravi had allowed Prem to cover 4 kilometers more. Now just to make this little easy to understand, let me redraw this diagram. Okay. And on the same, so because this is a new situation, because this is a hypothetical if then statement, if Rafi had allowed Prem to cover 4 kilometers more, so which means P2, Prem's second position, is X plus 4 kilometers he has reached, 4 kilometers more he has allowed Prem to go before starting from A, and this is Ravi R2. He shall need to cover now 21 kilometers to catch up with Prem. So the meeting point 2 is quite farther down the line now, M2, where both Prem and Ravi have now reached, such that this whole distance from point A to M2 is 21. So if this is x plus 4, then this is 17 minus x. So that the total distance becomes 21. 17 plus 4, 21. X and minus x cancels. Obviously, you have to find x, because the objective, you can understand from the statements, from the options, is to decipher the ratio of the speeds of the two persons. It's a race, right? Whenever two people are running, right? So the ratio of the distance covered by them is also the ratio of their speeds. So since we have been given these two scenarios over here, so we can define the ratio of speeds of the two racers as the same as the ratio of their distance covered. When time is constant, then speed and distance are in the same proportion. So what we can now therefore say is that uh, looks like Ravi is the fast person, right? So Prem to Ravi, Prem is slower than Ravi, right? What is the ratio of the speeds? This is the ratio that we are defining in two different ways. In the first context, Prem has been able to cover from P1 to M1, right? When they start together, then we will say the time is constant. So when Prem is at P1, Ravi is at R1, now the race starts. Prem covers the distance of 9 minus x. So Prem covers 9 minus x, and Ravi covers how much? Ravi covers the whole of 9 kilometers. So this is the ratio of their speeds in the first context, isn't it? Getting my point? Ratio of speeds is ratio of distance covered. Please just let me know yes or no, everybody. It helps me to know that everybody is with me on the session. Just a shout out would help. Yes, no, everybody is with me, right? And then we can define this ratio in another way, that in the second case, when Prem starts from here, he covers 17 minus x kilometers, whereas in that same time Ravi has covered the whole distance of from A to M to 21 kilometers. This equation should give us the value of x and hence the ratio of speeds, right? So what do we get by solving this equation? Here we can cancel 9, 3. So this becomes 3, this becomes 7. 7 into, so can I say 7 into 9 minus x, and 3 goes over there, equals thrice of 17 minus x, right? So we're getting 7 into 9, 63 minus 7x equals 51 minus 3x, right? So what we're getting, 7x minus 3x, which is 4x, equals 63 minus 51, which is 12. So x is 3. If x is 3, then putting this back in the equation gives us the ratio of speeds as 9 minus 3, which is 6 over 9. So the ratio of speeds of Prem to Ravi is coming to be 6 is to 9 or 2 is to 3. Or other way around, Ravi is to Prem, the ratio of speeds is 3 is to 2, right? It means that if Ravi covers 3 meters, Prem covers 2 meters, or we can say that Prem loses the race by uh, 1 meter, right? Right. So, uh, so in this case, Ravi can beat. Okay, just one small thing. I think the names over here have been interchanged. Just a small. Uh, we need to just change the options. This is Ravi. This is Prem in all the options, because obviously Ravi will beat Prem, not the other way around. Prem is the slower person, right? So Ravi will beat Prem by how much in how much race? So we have to observe the ratio that Ravi can beat Prem by 1 meter in a 3 meter race. If there's a race of 3 meters, Ravi will cover 3, Prem will be covering 2. So he'll be 1 meters behind. So he will be losing the race by 1. So Ravi can beat Prem by 1 unit in a 3 unit race. So option B makes sense. Again, this is Ravi, this is Prem, right? So Ravi can beat Prem by a mile in a 3 mile race. Perfect. So the ratio of speeds can be equated as the ratio of distances in a race problem, right? So two different scenarios were given. We had to create the ratios equation and solve for it. Perfect. Okay, so something I think I guess you have learned today. I did not get any answer from you, so this is a very common concept, right? Time speed distance ratio concept. All right, I hope you will try this one next. Something on geometry. All right, so geometry also gives us let's say on an average 2-3 questions, right? So 2-3 questions is a big deal, you know, right? Every single question is a push of anywhere between 3 to 5 percentile. So it's a huge deal, right? Okay, so something on, I think, triangles and coordinate axes, coordinate geometry, right? So I think you can try this, right? If you have learned your basic theorems, properties, this is doable. All right. Okay, so let me start this straight away, and if you're getting this, let me know. So let's see who gets it first, right? Let's see. So obviously we can plot this straight line. It's a right in on the coordinate axis, 3x plus 4y equals 24. So that's a straight line with its intercepts as when I put y as 0, I get x is 8. So 8 comma 0. And from when I put y equal to 0, right? So therefore putting when y is 0, right? When y is 0, x is 8. So this is 8 comma 0 where it is x intercept, and for the y intercept putting x equal to 0 gives us y as 6. So this is 0 comma 6. So right, so we are having this triangle, right? This one. What is the distance between, so it's a right angle triangle that we're talking of, the triangle formed by this line with the coordinate axis, right? What is the distance between the incenter and circumcenter? So the circumcenter and incenter of a right angle triangle, you know, you should know that, okay, where they lie. The circumcenter is very simple. It is the nothing but the midpoint of the hypotenuse. Both the circumcenter lies on the right, on the boundary of the right angle triangle, exactly in the midpoint of the hypotenuse for a right angle triangle, right? So therefore the midpoint of 0 comma 6 and 8 comma 0 very simply is right, we know x1 plus x2 by 2, y1 plus y2 by 2, average of the coordinates is the midpoint. So therefore 0 plus 8 by 2, 4 comma 3, right? That is the midpoint. And in center will be somewhere in the middle, let's say around here, right? I don't need to draw the whole in radius. I just in circle. I just know it's somewhere here. And okay, let me also draw the in circle for clarity. What happens in a right angle triangle is that this in circle, this in center, right? So it forms a square figure along with the 90-degree vertex of the right angle triangle. So if this is the origin O 0 comma 0, then this is radius r, this is radius r, this is radius r, this is radius r. So this coordinate becomes r comma r simply, right? You should know that in a right angle triangle, the in center forms a square figure with the triangle. So therefore, since this is a square, so this coordinates are r comma r. Now we know that the in radius for a right angle triangle has a specific formula to get it very quickly: a plus b minus c by 2, c being the hypotenuse, a and b being the other two sides. A is obviously over here 8, this is 8, this is 6, and obviously 8 6, so this becomes the c is 10 hypotenuse. So a plus b is 8 plus 6 14, 14 minus 10 by 2, so this is 4 by 2 2. So therefore this becomes simply 2 comma 2 r comma r, and that point is 4 comma 3. The distance is nothing but under root x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So therefore you get under root of 4 minus 2 2 square plus 3 minus 1 1 square. So therefore you get root 5. That's your required distance. So making use of all the properties for your special centers of the triangle, specifically for a right angle triangle, right? If you did not know this, this is a very important property about in center and the circumcenter for a right angle triangle that we discussed. Perfect. So I'm bringing forward all the important concepts, right? Okay, so yet to hear from you people. Still the chat box is empty, but I hope that you will respond with the next problems. Here we go, next one. Okay, so not only I mean, feel free to ask anything. Okay, that's why we are having this live session. Okay, now, so again I would want to take this mensuration, maxima and minima. Let's see if you can get this faster than I do, or let me give you a minute to try. That would be better. Okay, please try this one. All right. Let's see if somebody can get this. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Please try. Okay, so let me start this one. In case you get this, let me know. So, okay. So first of all, figure, I hope you have understood what we are having. So there's a cone, right? Okay, so let's say this is our cone. Perfect. Now, so within this, we are having a cylinder, right? With the common base, right? The radius and the height of the cone are given 5 and 10. So, so let's say that's our cylinder somewhere in the middle. So we have to optimize, the position of this cylinder, which means what is its radius, what is its height, so that its curved surface area is maximized. Something like this. I am sure you have understood. You would have, figured out that this is the problem. This is the how the cylinder is placed inside the cone. Okay, so this radius is 5. This total height is 10. Let's say this much height of the cylinder is h. So from this point, the top of the cylinder to the top of the cone, this distance is the remaining of 10 minus h. Now you can understand that we need to identify the radius and the height of the cylinder. Okay. Right now it looks like the radius and height of the cylinder are two independent variables, but we should be able to get some relation and define one variable in terms of the other, right? Because there's a similarity over here, right? The upper right angle triangle and the larger right angle triangle, right? One which is formed using the top of the cylinder as its base, and the other one which is formed using the base of the circular cone as the base, right? Those two right angle triangles are similar, right? This right angle triangle over here and this right angle triangle over here, they are similar. So this height over this radius should be equal to this total height over this total radius, right? So therefore this upper height, which is 10 minus h over the radius, which is the same r, should be equal to your the whole height of 10 over the total radius of the base as 5. So this is nothing but 10 by 5 or 2. So we are getting the value of r over here in terms of h, that r is nothing but 10 minus h by 2. Right. So now comes that we have to optimize this curved surface area of the cylinder. We have to maximize it. So what is the curved surface area of the cylinder? Nothing but 2 pi r h. R can be written over here in terms of h. So replacing r as 10 minus h by 2. So 2 and 2 cancel over here. This 2 and this 2. And we're left with pi 10 minus h into h. So now it's a very simple quadratic maximization, 10h minus h square, right? That is your area, curved surface area, which you have to maximize. So this is coming to be pi into 10h minus h square. So completion of squares gives us pi into whole bracket 25 minus 5 minus h the whole square, right? That is what exactly we can write this. So therefore when h equals 5, right, this maximum value is nothing but 25 pi. That's your maximum curved surface area, right? So a usual quadratic maximization problem, but you had to derive it. You had to use similarity in the geometry of the figure to first of all define radius in terms of height, then define the total surface area as a function of height and maximize that. Perfect. So it's a mix of a overlap of concept, geometry also, maximum minimum also, right? That's what CAT exam is all about, right? Mixing things up, isn't it? Okay, so bring some energy, people. Let's see if you can try the next one. Okay, I should not be having a session with my chat box completely empty, right? And I'm not necessarily looking for answer, right? Just show your enthusiasm, right? Ask me anything. That's what we are here for, right? It should not be just a one-way dialogue, right? Okay, so let's do this one. Quadratic. Now, a very different question is here. Okay, question has been asked on this similar concept, right? So for what value of m does the equation, this one, so it's a modulus equation, have, and within the modulus we have a quadratic, right? Have exactly three distinct and real roots. Perfect. Let's see. Okay. Now, so what do we have? A modulus function in with a of a quadratic. So first of all, let's understand how will the graph of this quadratic look like, of this whole equation, right? How will the graph look like? So a quadratic, first of all, with respect to the axis, may have no roots, may have exactly one root which is touching the x-axis. First of all, I'm trying to understand how the graph of this function will look like. This whole was a quadratic, right? Now, this quadratic could be having no roots or exactly one root or two distinct and real roots. All the three situations are possible. Now, when we take the mod on this, what happens? If it is this kind of quadratic, the one with no roots, so having a modulus does not change anything, because modulus will only change the function if it was ever taking a negative value. So in both these two cases, can I say the modulus is the same as the original function? It's just something like saying x squared plus 1 and I'm putting mod on that. How does that change anything? Mod of x squared plus 1 is exactly always the same as x squared plus 1, because x squared plus 1 is strictly positive. So the graph will only change its shape if the graph has roots. The original quadratic has roots, right? So could this quadratic have been any of the first two kinds? Well, you see, if it was one of these two types, then we can just remove the modulus. It does not make change anything, and then that being equal to 1. So you see, if a quadratic is put equal to 1, so let's say this is the line y equal to 1, so it can only intersect the graph at the maximum of 2 points. Or maybe this line is passing from here, so no intersection, no solutions. So can I say both these situations are not possible, because in either which way, this cannot give us three solutions. It can at most give us two solutions. So these two scenarios are not possible. It must be a quadratic of this form, right? This one. That we have understood. Now, once you know that this is a quadratic having roots, so what is the job of the modulus? What does modulus do? Whatever is a negative value, it changes its sign. It keeps the magnitude same but reverses the sign. So mod of -5 we know is 5. So this whole negative portion, that will be erased, that will be replaced by its mirror image about the x-axis, because that is what the role of modulus is, to keep the value same. So value same, so therefore a point, let's say this is -5, will become +5, right? So it will go up by the same magnitude. So that is your new graph. Now this equal to 1 should have three roots. So now comes the point that the line y equal to 1 should be touching this graph at 3 points. Can this line, right? Because this is what we want. We want y equal to 1 line to meet the graph of y equal to this modulus function at 3 points. So where could this line y equal to 1 be passing through? Could it be passing from here, let's say? No, 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 no. This is giving us these four solutions. So it cannot be passing below the vertex. Can it be passing above the vertex? No, again, it will give us only two solutions. Are you getting now what I'm going to say now? I hope you're getting what I'm saying about to say. Yes. So this line y equal to 1 should be exactly touching the vertex of the parabola. So that now we have these 1, 2, and 3 solutions. So this is the line y equal to 1. It means the vertex of the parabola, when reflected about the x-axis, not the original vertex of the original parabola, but the reflected one, is at y equal to 1. Now looking at this quadratic, which is x square minus 4x plus m, so clearly since this the completion of square on this quadratic will give us x minus 2 the whole square, x square minus 4x term is there. So clearly at x equal to 2 the vertex lies for this quadratic. So now we have got the x point from the, I mean, the for the vertex of the parabola, we have got the x coordinate use from, we have deduced that from the equation of the quadratic. So this is x equal to 2 and this is y equal to 1 because of the fact that this equation should have 3 solutions. Hence, the original vertex of the parabola was 2 comma minus 1. So can we now find the value of m? Yes, we know that this fx, if this is fx, then this fx therefore should be x minus 2 the whole square minus 1, so that its vertex is at minus 1. So this is what the fx inside the modulus should be, which simplifies as x square minus 4x, right? X square minus 4x and plus 4 minus 1, so plus 3. So what is your value of m? It is 3, isn't it, people? Please give me a thumbs up, give me a yes no. Right, I have not yet received any answers, but just I want that to know that everybody's actively engaged with me. Yes, give me yes no thumbs up, right, so that we can move on. Is this clear? Feel free to ask anything. Okay, yes, Prabhakar, thank you. Yeah, so that's what we are here for, to look at uh, most often asked concepts as well as some new kind of things. Okay, so that's what these sessions are all about. Perfect. Okay, all right, next one, numbers algebra. Let me give you a few minutes to understand what this question requires us to do. Let me see if you can get something over here. You also have options. Okay, let me give you some time to try this. So as you can see that a lot of questions we are doing today on which are making use of multiple concepts. So something on numbers, something on algebra also. So you can see this expression, right, in with a quadratic expression in the numerator and a linear in the denominator. This should be an integer. So the first job is to algebraically simplify this. That is the algebra part. And then the numbers part, that it should be an integer. So how do we ensure that it's an integer? Let's see. So first we'll expand the quadratic and then we'll divide, right? All of us know polynomial division. That is what we need to do. So the numerator, the numerator is nothing but, so a plus b whole square, so 25x whole square. So 625x square plus 2 into 25, 50, 50 into 16, 800x plus 16 square 256. So we need to divide this with 5x plus 4, get the quotient, get the remainder, polynomial division, so that we can separate out the integer part. So let's do that, right? 625x square plus 800x plus 256, that we are dividing with the linear term, which is 5x plus 4. So 5x into 125x is 625x square. So 625x square plus 4 into 125, which is 500x. Subtract. So cancels. 800 minus 500, which is 300x plus 256. Now 5x into 60 is 300x. So 60 over here. So 5x into 60, 300x, and 4 into 60, 240. Perfect. A very small remainder I'm getting, 256 minus 240, which is 16. So therefore, can we say that this expression, right, it can be written as, let me call it A. This expression is 125x plus 60, right, plus 16 over 5x plus 4. Now look at the question very carefully. For how many values of x is this expression an integer? So A needs to be an integer for which 16 divided by 5x plus 4 should be an integer. So 5x plus 4 should be a factor of 16. If 5x plus 4 is a factor of 16, so 5x plus 4 can take what values? Now remember, the question is saying for how many values of x is this an integer? The question is not saying positive integer. So 5x plus 4 could be a factor of 16 with either plus or minus sign. Agree? So if 5x plus 4 is 1 or minus 1, in both the cases, this term will be an integer. Right? What are the factors of 16? 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. So 5x plus 4 could be plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 8, plus or minus 16. For which we'll get how many solutions of x? Obviously, these are 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 5 times 2, 10 values of x. And for all those values of x, also you're getting one thing. You're getting 5x to be an integer, isn't it? So if 5x is an integer, isn't it? So for example, 5x plus 4 is plus minus 1. So 5x is either 1 minus 4 minus 3 or minus 1 minus 4 minus 5. So if 5x is an integer, so 125x is also an integer. So my point is this term in the bracket 125x plus 60 will also be an integer always, whenever I'm ensuring that this term over here is an integer. And therefore, for all those 10 solutions of x from here, this whole expression A is an integer. So that's your answer. There are 10 values of x which make this an integer. Isn't it? So algebra was involved to simplify this, and then numbers logic was required, factor logic, right? Something upon something, numerator over denominator, that is an integer if the denominator is a factor of the numerator. Right? Simple logic of both algebra and numbers. So polynomial division you should know. You should know, these kind of questions have been asked many times. Some kind of, fraction needs to be an integer, variables are written. So this kind of logic. Perfect. Right? Give me a thumbs up. Can we move on? Is this clear? Perfect. Okay. All right. Probability. Let's see. Next one. Why should 16 by 5x plus 4 always be an integer? Okay. Prabhakar has some doubt. Right, Prabhakar, let me discuss. So why should this be an integer? 125x, and it can both add it up, create an integer even when both are not. Well, you see, the thing is, okay, so you're saying that two fractions can end up to become an integer. That's what you're saying, trying to say, Prabhakar. Well, it looks like that, but it would be very hard to get them in the form that this something is x, something is integer minus x kind of thing. For example, getting this to be, let's say, 1 by 4 and getting this to be 3 by 4 or 7 by 4, that would be very hard, right? They can only become an integer when both of them are integers. I agree. See, the thing is that on both the sides the same variable is involved. So if I, let's say, put this equal to, I get your point, Prabhakar, but you see, if this is, let's say, one, put this equal to something, put this equal to, let's say, 1 by 4, and get the values of x. For that value of x, getting this to be the complementary value so that they add up to become an integer is very hard. I don't think so that would ever happen. You can check that, right? I don't think so that is going to happen. I agree with your point, but that would have been possible if, let's say, here we had x, here we had y. So there were two independent variables so that they can be independently assigned the values so that they join up to become an integer. Right now, since the same variable x is involved in both the expressions, so what you're saying would not really happen, right? But thank you for asking. Good query. Okay, so we were here, right? Everyone, Prabhakar, let's try this. Okay, giving you 2 minutes to try. Probability answers options are in terms of percentage, so you know that we can also convert the fraction of a probability to a percentage. So for example, if we have an option of 25%, means the probability basically is 1 by 4, right? So therefore, let's see again something interesting. I would love to somebody getting this answer. Let's see. You can do this. This is quite doable if you just think through a little bit. You should also get some success. Okay, I'm giving you time to try this, please. Okay, so Will, what should we do? Give you more time or should I discuss? Okay, no worries. Let's see now. But I think you should have got this. Okay. So you see, from 10 bulbs, 3 are defective. So what is the event that we are doing? We are selecting one by one until we get we have identified, all the defective ones, right? So while we are selecting, in a sequence, in how many, so first of all you have to, in any probability question, the favorable ways over the total ways is the required value of the probability. So what is that we are doing? We are trying to figure out, we are trying to find those three defective bulbs. So when I say total ways, what does total represent over here? Total represents the different ways of the order in which the three defective bulbs would have been selected, isn't it? So while I'm selecting the 3 out of the 10, where they are placed, in what sequence they arrive, let's say, for example, the 5th bulb, the 9th bulb, and the 10th bulb, which I took out were defective, right? Or let's say the second one, the third one, and the 8th one. So that order could be in any of the, out of the 10, any of the 3 places. So can I say total ways is simply out of 10, which 3 places the defective bulb appeared? 10 C3 is my total ways. Agree? So 10 C3 is nothing but 10 into 9 into 8 divided by 3 factorial, right? Which is 6. So this 6 will cancel. This is basically 6. So 6 will cancel from here. 3 can be cancelled from here. 2 can be cancelled. And this cancels. So this is 120. This is my total possible orders in which the wrong defective bulbs could have appeared. Now, what is my favorable ways? My favorable ways correspond to that the 8th bulb. Prabhakar, you got this finally. Thank you. Correct. Thank you. Good. Yes. So 8th one should have been the third defective bulb. So from amongst the initial 7 selections that we had done, first bulb selected, second bulb, and 7th bulb, the 2 defective bulbs should have appeared. So now what is the favorable ways? Out of the initial 7 bulbs that I'm selecting, the 2 defective bulbs could have appeared in 7C2 ways. So this is my favorable ways. 7C2, which is 7 into 6 by 2, which is 7 into 3, 21. So therefore the required probability is 21 by 120, or 3 can be cancelled, 7 by 40, which expressed in percentage is 17.5%. Right? 1 by 40 is 2.5%. 2.5 into 7 is 17.5. Yes, Arup, right? Yes, Prabhakar, that is correct, right? So again, something new, right? Okay. Finally, you gave the correct answer. Thank you. Let's see next one. Again, I'm very excited to put this question in front of you. I would want you to try this. Very interesting question. Okay. I'll give you time. Fine. Let's see. I'll not give you any hints. Just try this. A very classic problem. This is all right. Yes, people, you can get this. What do you say? I think everybody is waiting for me to solve, isn't it? नहीं हो रहा? डिस्कस करें? Amit says to Ram. Amit says to Ram. So what this question is talking all about? This question is talking about present, past, as well as future. I shall be future. Ram was past. I am present. All the three time frames we are talking of. Amit talks of present I am, when I shall be future. JD007 is saying B option. Afsos, galat jawab. But thank you for trying. Let's see. So there is a present and then there's a future. The first statement is talking of present with respect to future. Past will also come later on with the question, right? When Ram was, uski bhi baat aayegi. Abhi initially what we are talking of Amit is saying to Ram, I am my present, half as old as you shall be, your future. Ram's future with respect to Amit's present is being compared. Amit is saying my present is half of your future, or other way around, your future is twice of my present. So if I am X right now, you will be 2X in the future. I am half as old as you shall be. First phrase I have captured, comma, when. When I shall be. Now he's saying my future. I shall be my future. As old as you are, your present. They are equal. As old as means the same as. Means if this is Y, then this is also Y. When I shall be as old as you are. Yes, Prabhakar, that is correct. This deciphering of the statement is the only challenge, is the challenge in the question. And that is what people struggle with. As simple as plain English language. What does that statement translate to mathematically? What does that mean? This is what it means. Now, what we have to solve for? We have taken two variables in this problem to quantify what Amit is saying to Ram. Now we have taken two variables, and that is all that he has said. And then the question is asked, how much is the da 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 da? Da? So, I mean, whatever information had to be given has been given. So, we need to deduce something more over here apart from what we have written, because right now there are two variables in front of us, in front of me. I have not written any equation, nothing. I need to write an equation. What is that equation going to be about? How can I write? I mean, there is no further information, but I do need to obviously eliminate x and y and get some relation over here. Only then I can solve or answer the question. What is that, Prabhakar? How did you solve further? Can you tell everyone what's the next step from here? I'm wondering. I think everyone is also wondering, isn't it? What do we do now? In any age problem, right? As Prabhakar has just said, difference of ages is the same. So you have defined present, future for both the persons. So both in the present as well as in the future, the difference of ages is not going to change. So that will give you the equation. So obviously from the statement, Ram is older than Amit because Amit shall be in the future what Ram is right now. So Amit is obviously younger to Ram right now. So what is the difference of ages? We can write that in two different ways for both the present and the future and get some relation between x and y. So the difference of ages in the present between Ram and Amit is y minus x, and in the future it is this 2x minus y. They can be equated. That is the equation you had to write. That's the second challenge. How does that equation come from? Common sense. अगर तुम 20 साल की हो, अगर मैं 40 साल का हूं, तो हमारी उम्र का डिफरेंस हुआ 20 साल. आज से 10 साल पहले तुम 10 साल के थे, मैं 30 साल का था, तब भी हमारी उम्र का डिफरेंस तब भी 20 साल था, आज भी 20 साल है. आज से 50 साल भी अगर मैं जिंदा रहा, तुम जिंदा रहे, खुदा की रहमत रही, तो तब भी मैं तुमसे 20 साल बड़ा ही होऊंगा. तो in age problems there is only one logic: difference of age remains constant. So getting the relation that y plus y 2y equals 2x plus x 3x, or that y by x is 3 by 2. तो अब y को 3 के ले लो, x को 2 के ले लो, यहाँ पर डाल दो, right? You'll get some you can define everything in terms of a single variable. So this is 3k, y is 3k, x is 2k, so this is 2k, right? So the ratio of the current ages is 2:3. In the future, Ram will become 2x, which is 4k. So we are going k years in the future, and y, which is 3k. Now comes the question: how much is the present age of Ram? The present age of Ram is 3k as compared to the age of Amit. Now I understood what JD007 did. I think JD007 what you did was 3k 2k से कितना compare हो रहा है, 1.5 times आपका आंसर था. But that's not what the question is asking. I think आपने सब कुछ कर लिया था, but you did not look at what the question is asking. That is a second mistake that happens, that we analyze everything, but we analyze the given information correctly, but when it comes to understanding what the question is asking, we falter, isn't it? Question is saying how much is the present age of Ram? Ram's present age is 3k as compared to not the present age of Amit, but compared to the age of Amit when Ram was as old as Amit is. Ram has to go in the past when he was 2k years old, jitna Amit aaj hai. So we have to go k years in the past. So this 3k will become 2k, which means we are going k years in the past. So k years in the past for Amit would be that he was k years old. So this 3k is thrice of this k, and therefore the answer is thrice. Okay, so I hope this was a fun session, right? So until we meet next time, thank you so much. Career Launcher mobile app is something that you can make use of along with your study plan, right? Make use of it. It's one of the many ways to get connected with us, and there is a lot of stuff over there for your preparation. So this was our session, people, and I like that finally you engaged, right? But I think there is something that you're taking away from this session, right? And I would love to hear from you that what topics specifically are your challenging topics where you would want me to take more questions. So throw in me your suggestions right on the comment or section of this video, so that I can look over those topics and we can do more questions of that, right? Otherwise, my agenda is always, as always, bringing forward the most almost often asked concepts, as well as some innovative things, because that is what Cant exam is all about: preparing for the unknown. All right, so thank you people. Until we meet next time, thank you so much. Keep up your good work. All the best, right? Thank you.